And hello and good morning, everyone, and welcome to Uncivil Law, where we learn through the misfortunes of others. As always, I hope you'll enjoy this YouTube exposed content. And today will be the day I earned that subscription. For today's story, we're responding to a video from the channel The Click, which talks about a long known and much talked about problem, a problem that has impacted me personally and professionally as it relates to this channel, namely that YouTube, not so great on communicating with its creators, not so great on explaining what the rules are, not so great on consistent application of those rules, not so great on telling you what the problem is if there is a problem, definitely not so great in being able to get a hold of anyone that can talk to you on a human level and actually work through a problem. All you really have is the bots, which give you very, very broad, generic, and very unhelpful guidance. And even channels that have 1 million+ subs, like The Click, have these problems. And this is a well-known problem, and it seems to be based, at least in part, on whether or not you are an industry-based creator. It doesn't even seem to be based on sub count. It seems to be that if you're someone like CBS or NBC or, in other like approved outlets, you don't have these problems. I don't think that CBS and NBC and other creators like that have difficulty getting a human being on the line. I'm sure they can pick up a phone. It's not even clear that someone like PewDiePie can pick up the phone, even though he's one of the biggest creators of all time. It seems to be based on this, like even the really, really big creators don't have the ability to really talk to YouTube, and it's endlessly frustrating. YouTube does not seem to really like the independent creators, or at least the way they treat them. So The Click is talking about this problem, and it's very, very frustrating for me on a whole number of levels. It's frustrating for me because you never know what you can talk about and what you can't. You never know how to talk about it. You wind up in these positions where you have to use these euphemisms to try to talk about subjects you think are worthy of being talked about. And even then, you have to worry about the algorithm. You have to worry about what some moderator will think. Problems with videos being taken down, so forth and so on. Just endlessly frustrating. And it can be. And I've been doing this to varying degrees of seriousness for 5 years. And still, like, and I'm an attorney and I can't figure out what's going on. And this is not exactly just a me problem. This is a YouTube-wide problem. But The Click is bringing attention to this, and I wanted to bring attention to it again as well. So this is from the channel The Click. This comes from yesterday, and this is a video entitled "YouTube Has a Big Problem." The problem being they're not really good at communication is basically the long and short of the problem. But let's go listen to this and talk about it.
Well, good evening. Ladies, lasses, and lassos, welcome to The Click. I do hope you're having an amazing day because you smell just as amazing. So today we're going to talk about something slightly different than I usually do on this channel. You may have noticed over the past couple of days, there has been a bit of a situation, a bit of an upstir among mainstream YouTube channels. This was because Corey, a big gaming channel on YouTube, had a video of the mortuary assistant get age-gated. Now, age-gating on YouTube is not a new concept, but it's pretty bad. It basically completely kills a video. You have to be logged in to watch it, it can't be monetized most of the time, and it gets completely removed from any sort of algorithm or homepages or what have you. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, it's because his channel was the only one to receive an age gate for this said video, even though the
So there's basically the problem defined in an example. It's like it's a case, an example made by case, right? This is the problem. You have a creator who's having their content restricted in some way. In this case, by being age gated. You have to be logged into YouTube. You have to be over a certain age. I believe it's over 18. It doesn't show up in P feeds. You don't get notifications. It doesn't show up in the algorithm, right? But that's just, of course, one of many possible outcomes that you have. You have this problem where the content can be completely unrestricted, or it can be deleted, or it can cause your channel to get a strike, or whatever. And there is no consistency. Even though this guy in this situation is using this clip and he's using it in a way that is consistent with how other people are using it, he is the only one that's getting age restricted. Other people are using the exact same content, but he's the only one getting age restricted for it. And this, again, is a problem I've experienced, and a problem that my fellow creators have experienced, fellow law tubers have experienced, where there is content that is used, and for whatever reason, the algorithmic gods, or even sometimes the human reviewer gods, which, how much they're human reviewing is questionable at best, have this sort of arbitrary and capricious approach to everything. So, yeah.
There were countless channels showing the exact same clips as he did.
Yep.
And he made a video where he called YouTube out on their inconsistencies of enforcing guidelines, which I think is pretty fair.
The allegations I am levying towards YouTube are extremely serious, and I'm taking this video extremely seriously. YouTube.
Now, this is a guy that has, 14 million subs? And he's having this problem. So, yeah. This does not, you think that, at 100,000 or at 1 million or 14 million subs, you'd be able to not have these problems and be able to get in touch with a human being? No. It doesn't seem to be a subs-based issue. It seems to be whether or not you're corporate or not. I'm very, very, I've never heard NBC or CBS or any of them talk about these problems. I'm going to assume it's because they don't have them. But you will hear creators with 14 million or 50 million or 100 million talk about these problems. PewDiePie has talked about these problems. These arbitrary, capricious treatment of stuff. Yeah.
You guys either play favorites, you are racist, or it's a mix of the two.
Which is hardly a new concept.
I don't think it's a racism problem. I think it's a playing favorites problem. I think I do think that there is some, if you want to talk about racism, there is favoritism on the basis of race for certain races, which does sound pretty racist. Certain races have preferential treatment. Certain identities have preferential treatment. But I don't think that's the fundamental problem here. I think the fundamental problem is playing favorites. If you're corporate, if you're organized in that way, I think you get preferential treatment. Yeah.
For YouTube, but I think it's something that needs to be spoken up about. And I really like seeing more people on YouTube chiming in on this because it makes us feel less isolated. It makes you feel less in the wrong because it's very easy to just sit and feel like you were alone in this whole mess and you're just getting punished by some hidden boogeyman at YouTube. Well, in fact, it seems to be the entire system that has a lot of issues.
Yeah, that feeling that you're being targeted, that feeling of isolation, that feeling of the random whimsy of the capricious YouTube looking down on you, and you feel all alone, like no one's going to be able to help you because they probably won't be able to. It's real. It's very real.
Corey then reaches out to YouTube via his partner manager.
They came back and they removed my age restriction. They took it off after they already rejected my appeal. I sent them the clip of Markiplier's video that has the same thing, and they removed it.
Why did he have to use Markiplier's video as a measure of his own innocence?
See, this is the thing, right? It is just the situation where you are running into this situation where you have this inconsistency. And I've had this problem too on appeals. Like, the appeal system is garbage. And the appeal system, they decide these issues in like no time at all. So they say someone reviewed it, they totally didn't. This person reviewing it spent 30 seconds tops and just basically clicked the button on a capricious level. and there's no ability for further review or something. Now, in this case, he was able to get further review. In my case, where I had one of my videos taken down, which was one of our Capitol Riot series, right? I did this long series where we did, I don't know, how many did we do? 58 of them or something? Of various cases from the Capitol riots from January 6th, which was a horrific event in United States history. A lot of people broke a lot of laws as it relates to that, right? How you characterize it politically, it's up to you. How you characterize it legally, a lot of people broke a lot of laws, and that was my coverage. You know, we covered 58 of them. Only one of them, of the 58, did I say, I think this guy has a case in terms of his defense. The other ones were just like across the board. It's like, yep, no, the federal government has it for these people, the ones we covered. Now, that doesn't mean that's true for all of them, of course. Everyone's presumed innocent. And some people would have defenses that are not available to other people in terms of what is true or not for the events of January 6th. Every legal case has to be decided on its own merits. The ones we reviewed, at least the ones I reviewed, of the 58 I personally reviewed, which is not necessarily a representative sample, wasn't attempting to be. It was just 58 that looked kind of interesting. It wasn't attempting to be representative. But of the 58 I reviewed, I found only one that I'm like, okay, this guy has a defense. But what YouTube did, they took down one of my videos and gave me a community guidelines warning. Okay? They gave me a community guidelines warning because they said that my video was encouraging or inciting violence. And I, in my appeal, noted that doesn't make any sense. I am covering official FBI documents. I am covering official DOJ documents. I am covering works of the United States government that are documenting these crimes and the penalties for those crimes. And we are exposing the people who did this. If anything, you think YouTube would be happy with that, because we're exposing people who did some very, very illegal things and showing the very, very illegal things. And the video and all 58 videos are substantively similar because they're all doing the same thing. They're all reviewing the official documents from the FBI, from the Department of Justice, looking at the evidence, looking at the photographs, looking at the social media posts. So many social media posts, so many people taking videos of their day, very helpful to the US government, and basically saying, ha ha ha, look at these idiots. And I had a community guidelines warning, and that thing never goes away, which is this video is going to talk about that as well. Now, my appeal was denied. And it's like, well, there's no further appeal. And like 2 years later, I had a random conversation with someone, and the warning was finally taken away. But the fact that you can't get any sort of interaction, the sort of capriciousness, the sort of just randomness of it all, it's just like, whatever. So, yeah. Is the video sound off? If there's a sync problem, I can't fix that. I hope no. I hope not. The video's lagging. I hope not. I'd like to be able to stream on the move.
Why was he the single channel targeted about this when it's such a mainstream popular game that everyone else is playing completely without issue?
YouTube then decides to double down and just age gates everything. as his tradition per YouTube operations. Oh, glory.
His video also goes into more detail and talks about how this seems to happen on repeat whenever he comes back to YouTube and gets into trending.
There's a sync issue, huh? Well, there's no way for me to fix that problem. It's not that bad, not ruining the stream. Okay, we'll press on. There's no way for me to fix that problem. So yeah, we are not using OBS or tools that would allow me to adjust the sync. So it's synced now. It's settled now. All right.
YouTube finds something to nitpick and like punish him for. It's like, oh gee, you're getting into recommended again. Well, how about the video from 3 years ago? Huh? That was naughty, bad boy. And
this is true too. This is true too. And I've had this problem too, where like months after, in fact, that video and that one I talked about, that one with the Capitol Riot series, had been up for months before it was deleted by YouTube for being in community violation strike. And then, like, yeah, so the idea that they'll go back in time and you could receive a strike for things you did months ago, years ago, because YouTube is now changing things and wants to, and maybe they just find a whole bunch of things in the past and they like, oh, that's 3 strikes in a row, right? And so your channel's deleted. It's a real problem. It's a real problem, to be sure. Since Kurt isn't watching chat at Secret McSquirrel, tell him he can't say the issue for, say, Mr. Orange Guy's name. I don't know what any of that means.
Channel gets bumped down again. Now, YouTube's odd reinforcement of guidelines and age restrictions and demonetization is not news on this website, and I figured I would talk a bit about my own experience regarding this issue as well, because I've had a lot of experience over the past 3 years, and I think it's healthy to talk about it and just summarize how common these issues are with YouTube. Our story starts back in late 2019, around Christmas. I have just made the decision to go full-time YouTube. My channel is starting to do better in the algorithm. It's growing in subscribers. I'm actually making real money off of it, to the point where I can actually pay the bills.
Yep.
I take some time to think about this, but finally I decided it's time to give my dream job a shot. I hand in my papers to work. I keep making videos. Christmas is approaching. Life is good. Until I get woken up by a phone call from a friend at 4 a.m. in the morning, the day before Christmas, telling me that my channel is gone.
Yeah, my experience on this point is extremely similar. My story on this point is extremely similar. It's just a slight difference in timing, but not in too much in a way that's material, right? So I have a very similar story here. I had been doing YouTube for a couple of years to varying degrees of seriousness. The channel is 5 years old, and for all that time has not been done in a super serious way. Like there was a period where the channel wasn't doing anything, really. There was a period where there was a lot of false starts. There is periods where things were getting uploaded very sort of haphazardly and not very good in terms of quality, which, you know, you wouldn't necessarily expect to be great right off the bat. Some people are, some people are not. My stuff, really early stuff, left something to be desired. But it's becoming increasingly serious, increasingly important to me. And as you guys know, and as I've talked about many times, I was having problems in terms of depression, a lot of it relating to my job. And so I was looking for an exit from my job. And YouTube, although it wasn't really, although I didn't necessarily create YouTube with this in mind, was becoming that escape valve. Although sometimes I wonder if maybe subconsciously I was doing it because I was looking for an outlet, or whether or not, you know, it was just something, basically an opportunity I created for myself without really recognizing it. But whatever, it doesn't really matter. Either way, you know, this is becoming more and more serious. I'm getting more and more subscribers. The channel is bringing in more and more revenue. It's getting to a point where there's enough money coming in that I'm not going to starve. You know, I'm going to have to give up a very big salary. And I did give up a very big salary in order to do YouTube. But, you know, I've got a little bit of money saved in reserve. And the channel's bringing in some revenue. And it's something that I can now talk about doing as a full-time career. It's something that I can do, right? And so I'm looking for the exit. And then I get the phone call. I get the phone call from a friend, Nate the lawyer. It wasn't 4 in the morning, it was 4 in the afternoon, give or take. And he says, you know, why are you streaming about crypto? Your channel name has changed. Your channel name is no longer Uncivil Law. It's now Ethereum, ETH, something, something. Your channel icon has changed. There's now a live stream going about this Ethereum stuff, this crypto scam. And of course, I get into a full panic. And I go home. I try to figure out how to end the stream, which I don't know how to do because it's not showing up on my end to end the stream. I finally figure out how to do it, but it was too late. Of course, my channel has been reported to YouTube many, many times for being spam, and YouTube deletes my channel. YouTube just deletes the channel, deletes everything, deletes all the video, deletes all the channel. And, I was incredibly depressed at that point because, I hadn't yet given notice to my job at this point. But I've been looking at this, and this was becoming my career, becoming my profession. And all of a sudden, it was all gone. And now suddenly, maybe I was going to have to just continue doing something I didn't like to pay the bills. And it was all completely gone. It was incredibly scary. And it went on, fortunately, in his case, it went on for weeks. In my case, it was 2.5 days. It took to get the channel back. And it was only because of my friends and bringing attention to Twitter and all the rest of it. I think it happened. But it was an incredibly scary period. And you just feel so vulnerable because you don't quite know how it happened in the first place. Again, I keep mentioning this every time. I had two-factor authentication. I don't even know what my own YouTube password is because it's just a random string of letters and numbers because it was set by a password manager, right? It's just random letters, characters, numbers. It's a secure password. I have two-factor authentication. I had all the things. How they were able to get control of my channel remains a bit of a mystery. The best answer anyone has is it was a session key hijack. Someone was able to get a copy of the session key from a cookie from the browser somehow that I clicked on a link or downloaded a thing. I still don't know for sure how it happened. And the fact it could happen again. And YouTube just deletes it. It was, yeah. Am I using a VPN? Sometimes. The VPN, of course, restricts the VPN. The VPN, of course, creates throttling problems because you don't get the bandwidth that you need. So when you use a VPN, your speeds are a lot slower than when you don't. But yeah, sometimes. But anyways, it's yeah. And someone says one of the best scam baiters had his channel stolen. Yeah, so I mean, it happens to people. And how it happened to me is still a little unclear. And we'll see what happened. I do pay for the pro version of I do pay for a pro version of a VPN. I always use paid VPNs. I've never used a free VPN. I use Molavad in case anyone cares, because it seems to be the best VPN based on the metrics I can tell, but it still slows things down. And yeah, anyways, we don't have to go into that for now.
1 week after I handed in my papers at work, my channel was deleted in the middle of the night. I had no prior strikes on my channel, no warnings, nothing that would make you guess that my channel was even close to being just nuked out of existence.
Yep.
Even the email YouTube sent to me informing me about this decision wasn't even properly formatted.
That's
I
nice.
spoke to no human about this. I just got a botted email that was borked in itself. That was it. I would lie if I said that this didn't mess me up for the longest time. That day, I called in sick to work. I was crying in my bed all morning.
Yeah, I had a very similar experience. Crying and just completely existential depression. I was dealing with a lot of depression issues, as you guys know. I'd be lying to you if I said the depression wasn't particularly acute at that moment. Yeah.
I did not want to leave my bedroom until this was resolved, because for some reason I felt so incredibly ashamed about what had happened. It felt like I had committed a crime and I was punished for it. And it was so embarrassing because I was so proud of my channel to be able to go full time with my job, and all of a sudden I had nothing to show for it. I went from having 2 jobs, basically YouTube and my previous engineering position, to having nothing.
Yep. That was very much my experience. I didn't really feel ashamed. I felt stupid. I felt like I had, because, everyone asks, what did you do? What link did you click? What piece of software did you download? What sketchy website did you visit? And I couldn't give him an answer. And I still can't give him an answer. And people want to blame you, which is not wholly unreasonable. It's like, what did you do? It's like, you must have done something. Maybe I did. I don't know. I don't really have any distinct knowledge of anything I did. I tried to look into it. I was unable to figure out what it was. I was unable to figure out what it was. And so you feel a little stupid. You feel foolish. You feel like you just got caught up in a scam. You feel like you've been caught out by a con man. You feel dumb. You feel like, I thought I was smart and sophisticated. I thought I was doing all the right things. And I still got taken. So, yeah.
Just like that, from one day to the next. My
Yep.
girlfriend came over to comfort me, and I eventually made it out of bed to try to live a normal life. I spent the next 3 weeks fighting to get my channel back. Appeal after appeal, rejected. No human would talk to me. I couldn't even contact YouTube support chat because my channel and my account was locked out. At this time, I was so early in my career that I didn't even have a proper Twitter following. I had no way to make noise. I was just sitting there, lost in the void. No way of combating it.
My Twitter presence was pretty shit at the time, and still is for that matter, to be a little bit honest. But fortunately, my friends came to my defense. That was the one thing I had going for me, is I had a lot of friends in LawTube. I had a lot of friends that were willing to make noise for me. And their help is endlessly appreciated. Because I think without them, the process would have gone on longer, and who knows if it would have ultimately been successful at all. So, that's bringing back some painful memories.
Eventually, after 3 weeks of basically a walking nightmare of anxiety and doubt and having no idea what the future would hold, my channel came back. And I didn't find out about this because YouTube sent me a nice email saying like, oh, we're so sorry about this. Here's your channel back. Or, information about, hey, good news. We reversed the decision. Complete silence. I only found out my channel was back because I got a ping from my Discord bot about a video being released on my channel that I had scheduled before it was deleted 3 weeks prior.
Yep.
I spent the next month after this desperately building up my momentum so I could actually support myself with the channel I had decided to go full time with.
When did this happen? This was now... Geez, when did this happen? This didn't feel like it happened that long ago. Let's see, it's August now. This probably happened back in April. This is about 4 months ago, give or take, something like that. It's about April, give or take. Sounds about right. It was about 4 months ago. Yeah. All my videos were deleted. And then I got the channel back with some of the videos. And then I lost a whole bunch of subs. Which was a nice little kick in the teeth. But fortunately, I got most of the subs back, but I did lose some subs because YouTube, the way it deals with things, it's great on its own back end. So this is a nice little thing. So when I finally got my channel back, Okay, because what they did, what the people who hijacked my channel is, well, they strictly speaking didn't delete the channel. They didn't delete the videos. They just made every video like private. So all the videos were there. When they took over the channel, they hijacked them, but they were all listed as private. They all changed them to private. I'm not sure why they did that versus delete it, since they had complete control of the channel, but whatever. So when the channel came back, all the videos came back as private. So I had to mass make them public. And then, of course, YouTube just sends out notifications. Ooh, new video. Ooh, new video. Ooh, new video. So people just get bombarded with all these notifications. And it's like, oh, this is all videos. I've seen this before. And so you lose subs as a result of that. And that happened in 2 phases too, because I initially got back 700 of them or so. And then some point later, I got back another 400 or 500 of them. And so that happened twice. Where it's like, oh, hey, look, a whole bunch of new videos. Ooh, let me send out notifications. Oh, but I've seen this before, and you lose 1,000 subs overnight. I laugh because it hurts. Okay, let's press on.
I don't often talk about money on my platforms, but for a frame of reference, when I decided to take YouTube full time, my channel was making, a few $100s a day. Nothing crazy, but a significant uptick from the job I had previously. After my channel came back, when I was still struggling to get it back into the algorithm again, I was making something like $40, $50 a day. Looking back on this now, I can say that, losing out on a month of revenue and another month where I basically had to build the channel back up doesn't matter so much after a few years into the business. 1 month of lost revenue isn't a huge deal. But the thing that messed me up for a long time is that I would not feel safe on YouTube.
Yeah.
I would be so paranoid about everything. I did not want to send in videos for manual review to get them monetized because I was so afraid that some random reviewer on YouTube would see this appeal and just nuke my whole channel again and go through the whole thing one more time.
Yeah, the feeling of vulnerability is something that's still a problem, still messes with me a little bit, to be honest. It's definitely a problem. Yeah, see, this is exactly right? I was wondering why you had reposted it. Yeah. The notifications were crazy. Yep, that's, yeah. If you think it's doing F all, you do not understand the first thing of what you're talking about. For those people who think that YouTube is just doing F all, you don't understand the first thing about what you're talking about. Go try to be a creator. Let me know how it works out. If you really think that, you're doing it for doing F all, why don't you do F all and get $300 a day? Let me know how it works out for you. Okay, great. Let's press on.
Would wake up in sweat at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, desperately fumbling for my phone, checking if my channel was still there. It was horrible. It was so bad. The lack of trust and the paranoia and the anxiety that comes from something like this. The next 10 months or so on YouTube was pretty smooth sailing.
Yeah, this is not a bad analogy at all, Arlene. It's like your house has been robbed, a personal invasion. Yeah, that's a good analogy. I've had my car broken into before. Never had my house robbed. But yeah, the personal aspects of it before, yeah, I feel like that.
Nothing much happened. I was just making videos as normal until I got another strike. And I don't particularly agree with the strike. It was very strange. They basically justified the strike when I tried to get some answers out of them, like, oh, no, it's too sexual. And I tried to get to the bottom of the strike, and the answer I got was basically, oh, some things in this video allude to adult themes. Not directly showing adult themes even, just alluding to them. YouTube operates on a 3-strike system, where you can get 3 strikes, and if those pile up, your channel is bye-bye, and they each time out after 3 months. Your very first strike, however, is just a warning, but this warning never goes away. So to this day, I still have a bleeping warning sign on the top of my dashboard that says, hey, you have a warning. You are a wanted criminal of Skyrim. From
Yeah, and I had that warning for a damn long time, because that warning doesn't go away. And I had lost my appeal. And it was only through a very sort of lucky fluke that an opportunity came along for me to have that reviewed, and now that warning is gone for me. But I have no confidence at all that I won't get a warning in the future, because I shouldn't have been had a warning in the first place, and my appeal should have been successful. Me saying, "Hey guys, these are official FBI DOJ documents describing crimes, and I'm reviewing these crimes and exposing these people who have committed these offenses," should have been a successful appeal. And it's like, what? And it's just like, well, we're denying it. No further review. Good times.
2 years ago. Yeah, I have to see that every single day, and there's no way to remove it. Of course, this also creates a separate issue. Every time I get something false flagged on YouTube nowadays, my channel gets locked out. I can't do anything until the strike time's out or until it's resolved. I had this happen a couple of times, mainly through the COVID craze, where YouTube would strike my videos for medical misinformation, for saying stuff like, hey, wearing masks is a good idea. Oh, he's mentioning COVID, medical misinformation. And I would have a false strike on my channel and was locked out for 2 days. Completely messed up my stream schedule, and that's why I pretty much exclusively stream on Twitch nowadays.
Yeah, this is a problem too. When you have that warning, which sits around forever, if you get a strike for any reason, it causes your channel to be suspended. And Nick Rekida's run into this problem, as I'm sure we all know. And you have an unjustified strike. It's like, oh, your channel's just going to be down for a week or 2 weeks or forever. And you feel like this strike is unjust. You feel like it's inconsistent. You write your appeal. You have no confidence whatsoever it's been reviewed by any sort of human being. It is really incredibly frustrating. A video on how to prevent this would be greatly appreciated. Well, Prototypo, if you find a video that describes how to prevent this, you let me know, because I'd like to watch that video too.
About 6 months later, I got another strike on a video called Why Women Live Longer. Basically a bunch of dudes doing silly things and, classic fail videos. It got struck for dangerous content and reinforcing dangerous behavior or something like that. I was so sure that I was going to get this one appealed. I was so certain that there's nothing in this video that they can deem that bad to keep it down. But they did. And when I pressed for a bit longer, I found out there's more specific clips they had problems with. You know what the best part is? Those clips are on YouTube. They are trending videos on YouTube with millions of views. But when I had them in a reaction compilation, then it's a strikeable offense. So basically what YouTube told me with this video takedown is that not even trending videos from YouTube are safe to show on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely right. This is absolutely right. The inconsistency of it all is real. The guidelines and the TOS are so vague. It's like, what do you think? What does it even mean? You don't know for sure what it means. And you get these things and you don't really know 100% what to do with it. And different people get different treatment. And and just because your video is trending, of course, doesn't give you any certainty. You can be a trending video one day, and 4 months from now, YouTube is going to come be like, oh, that video that we had trending that 4 months ago, oh, now that's a violation of our terms of service. The inconsistency of it all, the fact that you cannot reach a human being, or a human being who cares, or is a human being who's in a position to help, is incredibly frustrating. Incredibly frustrating.
What?
Yeah, I feel about the same way.
What? So I was locked out of my channel for a week. That was fun. I had one of the most ridiculous things happen recently. I received a copyright strike on a video. One of those strikes that actually takes effect after 7 days. So I have 7 days to fix it, or to remove the video myself, which basically agrees to the copyright takedown, but I avoid the actual strike, but losing out on my video. Now, this strike in question was, I believe, a 40-minute long video, and it provided 0 timestamps.
Mhm.
I didn't have the name of the claimant. I didn't have a timestamp of what they claimed that they owned. I had no information apart from one random Gmail address. That was it. When I searched the name of this individual based on the email and information I received, which was very limited, it just came up with some photo editing application. That was it. The name was the same as a misspelling of a popular app. So nothing came up when I Googled for this. So I started thinking, is this just a scam? Are they pretending to be this photo editing software just going around randomly claiming YouTube videos? But then my brain did a little bit of a genius.
And then, well, yeah, and even with these notifications, they just don't give you any information. They'll give you information. They don't tell you what the problem is. They don't tell you how to solve the problem. YouTube just really sucks at communicating is basically the issue. They don't highlight they give you very vague terms of service. They give you very vague generic language. They want you to go figure it out. They want you to read their mind. It's inconsistent. It's unworkable. It's frustrating. Yeah, I feel your pain, man.
Tinkering. Instead of trying to search for the name, I just searched for the Gmail. And lo and behold, I get some answers. This email is actually pasted in the About section of this individual's socials. So I find their Twitter account and I find their webpage. Apparently, the individual who had struck me is not a representative of a photo editing company or anything like that. They run a small photography studio in South Korea. And I'm like, okay, well, now at least it's narrowed down a little bit. That's cool. But why on earth am I getting struck by some freelance photographer from Korea? I have not shown any photographies in this video even. It's memes and cartoons.
And someone said every site does the same thing. I can't really speak intelligently to anything beyond YouTube. My experience is principally YouTube. That's the service I use principally. And I don't know that every site does the same thing. You hear about different problems on different things, but I think YouTube's expression of the problems is unique. Even if there are similar aspects on other social media doesn't act this way. And doesn't and even if it were true that every social media does this, that doesn't solve the problem. It just makes every social media equally frustrating. It just is, and I'm a creator on YouTube, so I'm going to talk about YouTube and the issues there. So I mean, that's the issues I'm going to highlight. So hopefully that makes sense.
Tunes. What is going on? So I start scrolling through their socials, and eventually I find a character that looks familiar. I'm like, And I cross-reference it to the folder of like the 100 memes I have in that video, and I realized that one of their photographies had been cropped out and placed into a meme where it looks like a cartoon. It shows for 3 seconds in a 40-minute long video. And at this point, I have spent basically an entire workday doing this detective work, right? But now I have finally got it. I have realized who did it, and the road forward is easy, right? So I just reach out to this individual and say, hey there, I saw that you struck my video. Wouldn't it be easier if I just cut these 3 seconds out in a YouTube editor and you reverse the strikes and we're both happy? No response. Now, to be clear, I don't want anyone go looking in.
Okay, here's a super chat. Thank you very much for your super chat. $15 from Cherry and Max. Opinion: never seen probation presents investigation channel and considered doing it. Aside from YouTube headaches, what are your thoughts? Retired from the field but not ready to quit. Well, I think that if you're passionate about something, that passion will permeate. I think one of the nice things about social media and YouTube, as a generalized proposition, is that there is an audience for just about any kind of content. And I think it is a mistake generally to try to chase what's popular, except instead of what you are interested in personally. And I think that if you find things interesting and you find things enjoyable, that will permeate and people will enjoy it because you enjoy it. Really good storytellers, it doesn't really matter what story they're telling. They're just enjoyable to listen to. And of course, a person can be a really good generic storyteller, but people who are really passionate about something tend to be good storytellers about those things, or at least it's more likely. So if you're really passionate about something, you're really knowledgeable about something, it could be a worthy pursuit. You can always try it. You can always try it. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you find out it's not for you. Right? Maybe you give it a try and you find out a month from now or a year from now or whatever, it's not for you. Or maybe you find that you really enjoy it. Also, on a personal level, I've incredibly enjoyed the camaraderie from my fellow professionals. I'm visiting my fellow professional right now. I'm in his house. I'm at Law and Lumber's house. And I am going to go visit Nate the lawyer and Joe in New York later this week. And I've spent time at Nick Ricada's house, and Leonard French from Lawful Masses spent time at my house. Right? These camaraderies and these relationships have been incredibly meaningful to me. And, the fact that you can get on with Richard Hogue at Hogue Law and do Lawyers and Dragons and I'm just so happy to meet all of you. Hi, my name is Blackleaf. You look like you're having a rough time. No problem. Hey, friends. I don't think they went that way. I think they should went this way. Everyone, please get closer to me. Breath weapon. The fact that you're able to do stuff like that, that's been meaningful too. So I think that anyone who has knowledge about something and passionate about something, you learn some basic storytelling principles and just look at how to tell stories if you don't already know. And there's lots of videos on it, and a little bit of improv acting can be helpful. Improv acting classes, I've taken those. That would be helpful. But yeah, give it a shot. Maybe it works out for you, maybe it doesn't. Why not try? Why not try it out? What's the worst that can happen, right? Give it a shot.
Into this individual. I do not believe they have been malicious in the least. I just don't think they really understand how complicated and pain in the butt YouTube systems is to deal with.
Yep.
And they probably assumed that I was a malicious actor as well.
Yep.
So I have no qualms with this individual whatsoever. We have resolved our issues and everything is fine and dandy. But I received no reply from this individual. And the video is ticking down. I'm now down to like 5 or 6 days until my video is struck down and my channel receives a strike. So I publicly tagged them on Twitter and said, hey, this is kind of, time is of the essence. Can we get a resolution to this quite quickly? And they replied and say, oh, for sure, I'll reply to your DM. And they did. So we talked it out in DMs. They agreed to remove the strike if I agreed to cut out the 3 seconds containing their photography. Now, if I'm going to be honest, I think this falls under fair use because it has been transformed so many times already. However, I'm not interested in taking this to court over a 3-second clip in a video. And also, I would have removed it anyway if they requested it, just out of respect for the...
Bullish Man says, Kurt, me. Too much about you. This is why you'll never succeed. I don't even understand that on any level. This is a confusing comment to me. This video is interesting to me because it relates to an experience I had. I thought it was worthy to talk about this because it's worthy to bring attention to this problem. It's a problem I personally have had. I think the fact that I personally had the problem makes it more relatable. Personally, it's like this is situations I've had. I'm like, yep, that's been my experience too. Let me add my voice to the mix. I don't quite understand this comment. Okay. And someone says, shouldn't your own channel be about you? I would think. I would think a little bit, but okay.
artist. But anyway,
Everything is fine and dandy. Nice end to the story, am I right? Oh, it's so wholesome and sweet.
No. 2 days pass. Nothing has happened. The strike is still there. The video is now only a few days from getting struck down. I reach out to this individual again and say, hey, the strike is still there. What is going on? And they say, no, it's reversed. I promise.
Yeah.
And I am like, this is weird. Why is it taking this long to reverse a strike that has a very, very distinct time ticker on it? That's strange. I reach out to YouTube support and I'm like, hey, this strike on this video should have been removed. What's going on? YouTube says they'll look into it. The next day, I get an email from...
This story here is mostly about, at least for me, this story for me is mostly about the frustration of talking to YouTube, right? The fact that whatever problems you have with another creator is one thing, but the fact that you can't, this story for me, what resonates for me about this story is the fact that you can't get any help from YouTube. The fact that YouTube is nowhere to be found. The fact that you get, even when you can get a human being at all, it is completely unhelpful. You know, it just doesn't really do anything for you at all.
YouTube. And the individual on the other end tells me, the person who struck your channel has not made a redaction of the strike. At this time, my brain is kind of spinning, right? I'm like, hold on. So YouTube has now told me, the YouTube representative that has access to the systems have now actively told me this person is lying. They have issued a strike on my channel to harm my content and my livelihood. They are lying about reversing the strike even after we get an agreement, so I don't have time to fix the strike in any other way. I'm kind of upset. I'm like, who is this person? What on earth are they doing? So my thoughts started running through my head, like, do I make a big public stink about this? Do I basically, throw around my weight as some kind of public figure to get them to stop basically using a broken system to harass my channel? Like, and lying about it? Like, I'm pretty angry. But before I do anything drastic, I decide to reach out to this person one last time. And I say, hey, YouTube told me you haven't actually redacted this. What's going on? And they tell me, no, I told YouTube to redact it. Here is the email correspondence. And they send me the correspondence in Korean, but I just run it through an image translator that says, hey, can you redact this one? And YouTube says, confirmed, we are redacting it.
Yep.
So the YouTube support person I talked to almost made me cancel someone. So at this point, I'm not particularly...
Getting bad information from YouTube support. Yeah, YouTube support saying, oh yeah, we didn't receive a retraction. And he's about to use his million-plus channel to rake this guy over the coals. But it turns out the guy did give a retraction. You're getting bad information from YouTube support. Well, doesn't that sound familiar? That's the story for me. Again, that's the story. You get bad information from YouTube. Inconsistent. You can't get someone. When you do get someone through YouTube, the only mechanisms you have to get to a human being at all is through their chat mechanism. And God knows when they're helpful at all. It's like, it doesn't really stay. It's just stuff. Hello, Stephanie, by the way. Stephanie is here. We're always glad to have Stephanie here. We're glad that Stephanie is feeling better, by the way. So everyone, we're very happy that Stephanie is feeling better and happy to be here. Stephanie recommended this video, by the way. She thought it would be good to cover and talk about some of these issues. And so Stephanie gives me many good story suggestions. And so I woke up this morning and thought, this would be a good thing to talk about, because YouTube can be a little frustrating sometimes. And thank you for whoever gave gift memberships, because it doesn't show up inside StreamYard.
Happy. And it's only a couple of days left until my video is struck down. I reach out to YouTube and I say, hey, This is redacted. Here's the email exchange. What are you doing? YouTube tells me, oh, it's in Korean. Can you send us the English copy? What English copy? This is...
Yeah, what English copy? This is from your platform, YouTube. You're the one sending it in Korean. Lucky gave the memberships. Thank you very much for Lucky for giving some memberships. We do appreciate people who help support the channel and gift memberships, and I wish StreamYard gave me an alert about that. That would be great, but it doesn't. So when I'm inside StreamYard, which is not my preferred tool to stream at all, I prefer OBS, but I'm on the road, and so StreamYard is a little bit easier. Anyways, but thank you for your support. My issues with StreamYard also have problems. Let's press on.
There's a correspondence between a Korean creator and your Korean office. What makes you think that an English correspondence even exists? And why aren't you the one researching this who actually has access to the systems behind the scenes? So instead of dragging this out, I just run it through the same image translator again and post it to the support person again and say, hey, here it is. It's in English. About the same time, I get an email from YouTube that tells me, hey, good news. We have resolved this strike and it's now gone. Check it out. Here's the link. And the link they posted links me to the community guidelines section, which of course doesn't have any strikes. We were talking about a copyright strike all this time, which is still there. So I respond to this person, probably more unpleasantly than I should have at the time, admittedly, and I say, you're not even looking at the right thing. Can you please at least read the previous email? Apparently, this person had done the right thing. They just linked the wrong page and there was a delay until the copyright strike was removed. So this person actually did do a good job. They just didn't communicate it very well. So, it was resolved at the end of the day, finally. And right now, I'm dealing with an age restriction on a video that I uploaded 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't gotten any answers.
Yep.
And it's age-gated. Automatically, when I re-upload it, get age-gated within 7 minutes, even after appeal, even though it's a 20-minute long video. Somehow they review it in 7 minutes. That's fascinating. And they won't tell me which part of the video gets it age-gated. So there's nothing I can do. The only choices I have to fix this video is either let it go, just forget about it, ignore, all the time and effort and payments I put into the video. I can wait on YouTube in hopes that they get back to me with some kind of tangible response. Or I can cut through the video myself, make 15 different versions where I cut out various clips and rearrange it, and try to figure out which part of the video is the one getting flagged.
But click, are there no good news whatsoever?
Oh my God, I actually got an email from YouTube recently that I was pretty excited about. So I don't have a partner manager on YouTube. I don't know when you are supposed to get one, but I don't have one. But they reached out to me about a partnership manager school.
The fact that he has 1 million subs and doesn't have a partner manager. I've recently gotten an invitation for a partner manager. I have no particular confidence that this person will be able to help me in any way, but we're going to give it a try. YouTube has assigned me a partner manager. Yay. But this guy with 1 million subs doesn't have a partner manager. Yeah.
Or something like that. And I'm like, oh, am I actually going to have a flesh person on YouTube I can reach out to? That's amazing. Wow, this is so cool. So I replied to them and say, yes, of course I'm interested. Wow, dear YouTube, hello, nice to meet you. I'll shake both your hands at the same time. I hear back from them and they say, oh, great, Clicky Thicky. So here is the suggestions that the system made for your channel. Stream more, have more premieres, and drive in more memberships. Basically, if you want to make more money, make more money.
That YouTube partner is really super helpful there, isn't it? Just make more money, make more money. That's really great. That's helpful, YouTube. Thanks, YouTube, for all that wonderful information. That's super duper helpful. Really super appreciated. Thank you. That's great.
Gee. Now, of course, this tells me that they haven't actually done any sort of deep dive on my channel, if you had looked through my links for 5 seconds, you would see that I stream on Twitch, pretty much for the reason that YouTube deleted my channel out of nowhere 3 years ago. So I'm too paranoid to have all my content in one place. They would also have seen that I have a Patreon, I have merchandise pages, and also my content isn't particularly fitting for premieres, right? So this disappoints me a bit. It tells me that this is actually not a person that has done any sort of deep dive on my channel. This is just an automated system. But then I figure, wait a second, this person actually claims to be a rep on YouTube. Maybe I can talk to them about some interesting opportunities. So I tell them, I have most of the stuff figured out. Thank you very much for reaching out to me about this. However, if something like YouTube gaming for streaming was on the table, then we could talk biz. I have like 1 million subs and stuff. How about we get down to them biz, eh? I can probably offer something. They tell me, no, these are the improvements the system suggested. Let me get this straight for a second. So the one time I actually have a human, a person of flesh and blood from YouTube, who reaches out to me, they are just blindly following the bots anyway?
Yeah, this has been roughly my experience to date. I have not had the pleasure of a YouTube channel manager that's been assigned by YouTube, although apparently I'm getting one, so I'll let you know how that turns out. Based on all the tell from everyone, I'm not super optimistic, but you never know. Maybe it'll work out for me. Who knows? But yeah, the only real interaction you have is with YouTube chat support, which I'm imagining my assigned partner manager is not going to be much better at. And all they give you is very generic, unhelpful advice and broken. And they don't understand your inquiry. And they don't understand what you're asking. And you can't, and you also can't get them to help with strikes. Even though you have an assigned partner manager by YouTube, it's like if you get a strike, it's like, can you help me by talking to the team? No, I can't. I can't talk to the team. I'm not allowed to talk to the content management team. I'm not allowed to talk to the strike team. What's your point then? Why do you exist? That's great. Nick Ricada has talked about these issues many times.
What's the point? I don't need a bot to tell me I've streamed 0 times on YouTube over the last 30 days. It's sort of a no-brainer.
I feel you. You gotta laugh because
I
it's
was
the only
so
way to make
happy
the pain
about this
stop.
email. I felt so special. I was like, I'm gonna be in with YouTube now. I'm gonna be one of the special big boys. And like, oh no, it's just another bot. Indirectly, it's just a human following a bot. God damn it. Oh. So that's my little rant on the inconsistencies and weird stuff you have to deal with as a YouTube creator. So YouTube, to me, in like a weird combination, is both the best job and the worst job I have ever had. It brings the most freedom, the most benefits, the most potential of any job I have ever had. It also brings by far the most anxiety, the most like uncertainty, and the most paranoia of any job I've ever had.
Yeah,
So
the paranoia is definitely a thing. As they say, it's not paranoia when they're out to get you. And with YouTube, yeah, they might. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that personally.
take the good with the bad, I guess. But I do hope these problems get fixed, because most of these issues shouldn't exist. Treat YouTubers equally across the board. And don't get me wrong, I'm not asking for anything ridiculous. I'm not asking to get away with things that are obviously against guidelines or endangering people or whatever it might be. I'm simply asking that these rules are enforced equally and consistently. Because right now, it's not that we want to break rules. No YouTuber want to break rules. It's not like, ooh, here's a guideline. Let me just break that real quick and endanger my entire livelihood. No one does that. We do it by accident because there is no transparency. We don't know exactly what the rules mean, and it's highly inconsistent.
Yeah, and that you would think, because what are lawyers but rule masters? Like lawyers, that's what we do, right? We're masters of rules. right? Rules upon rules upon rules and interpretations of rules. And I can't figure it out. Nick Rekieta can't figure it out. And the other members of the law team don't seem to be able to figure it out. It seems like there's nothing to figure out. The rules are broad, vague, opaque, capricious, arbitrary. You don't know what you can do and what you can't do. You don't know about what content you can make and what you can't. You don't know how to cover particular content sometimes. You don't have any particular confidence that YouTube is going to allow your content, and if it does, whether or not it's going to change its mind in months or years into the future. What person's going to review it? That's going to be a thing. It's completely impossible. And it's very frustrating for me in particular. Well, I wouldn't say in particular, that's perhaps unfair. It's frustrating for me because there are things I want to talk about, things that I think that deserve attention. And I don't know if I can talk about those things. I don't know if I can talk about certain legal cases with certain topics. And we've tried to get around that a little bit with creative word choices and euphemisms. And then people don't understand why I'm using the euphemisms. And that's the thing. So you're forced, this is just fun. You're forced as a lawyer to not speak clearly. That's just great. That's just what you want in your life. So the frustration, what will be socially acceptable in 6 months? Yeah. I have a lot of questions for your 8-ball. You'd be better off with the 8-ball, my friend. Flip a coin, pick a card. Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that on levels.
Channels can do some things and get away with it scot-free. Other channels get nuked out of existence. Others get age-gated. And we never exactly get a clear answer of why that is. Thank you for listening. This video is a bit ranty and different. I just want to get my little story out there and also show my support for this situation that is currently going on. I do hope it gets better. And for any YouTuber watching this, I suppose the takeaway is that a lot of people are dealing with this. You're not alone. YouTube is a big, weird, scary place. And hopefully it gets better for all of us in the near future. Take care. And I do hope you have an amazing day. Goodbye.
Well, I appreciate this video, and I appreciate Stephanie for recommending it, because it's important to bring these issues to attention, because it is a point of frustration and it's a point of demoralization. It's a point of existential dread. It's been a point of depression and feeling defeated and feeling hopeless, which is just all just the feelings you definitely want in your life. Feeling like there's no hope. That's just definitely something you definitely want. Yeah. Cherry and Max gives $5. Had monetized channel a year ago. Took one hitter during one certain repetitive thing. Channel was demonetized. YouTube didn't care. Appeals were a joke. Yep. It is a thing. It is a thing. Yeah. And Jack's Epic Eye has a video about this, talking about this as well. Doesn't surprise me. And the fact that even big YouTubers with 1 million people, YouTubers with 14 million people are talking about this, and we can't get anything done, it's just amazing. It's just amazing, and it's just frustrating. So, yeah. Tread says, Kurt, know you're appreciated and understood. I know many of you do appreciate me and understand me. And I appreciate that you're here, because you help. You help make it possible. I value those who are positive contributing members of this community, because it keeps me going. You see 460 people watching you on a Sunday, and it keeps you going. And it is just, you know, just something that it allows you to have the energy to keep trying. And I do appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. £5 from Stacy86. Thank you very much from your super chat. It is appreciated. I want to go see if I can see this other video and see if that's something we want to respond to as well. What was the other channel that had posted it? Jack's Epic Eye. Let's give it a chance and see what's going on there. YouTube has some serious issues.
So I just got back from LA.
So he's responding to similar, and he's on trending. Let's take a look at what he had to say about it.
And right before I left, on my way to the airport, the main man, Corey Kenshin, dropped an absolute banger of a video.
YouTube, you guys either play favorites, you are racist, or it's a mix of the two. These are the three options, YouTube.
He levied
14 million subs, that guy has. 14.1 million subs. And he can't get straight answers from YouTube. What hope is there for any of us, right?
some pretty serious accusations against YouTube, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit in this video because I kind of have a lot of thoughts around these types of subjects when it comes to YouTube in general. The stuff that Corey talked about was very specific to his use case about what was going on with his channel. And he accused YouTube of playing favorites and possibly being racist against Black creators and other creators of color when they upload their content. Let's face it, I come from a place of immense privilege being a white man on the internet, so I can't speak for the racist side of things, but he brought up some pretty good points that are kind of hard.
I don't believe in the concept of privilege. I don't believe in the concept of privilege, and I don't think this is a race thing. I think this is an approved, vetted, corporate, old school legacy media privilege versus the independent creators. I think that's what's really going on. CBS, NBC doesn't have these problems. CBS, NBC has a phone number they can pick up and call, I'm sure.
Hard not to think about in that regard, because he brought up a bunch of receipts as well, talking about his instances with the YouTube rep that he had. And just to kind of break it down for you, he uploaded the mortuary assistant, and his video got age restricted because of a certain section got to do with self-harm and dealing with the themes of suicide and everything. If you've watched my series on the mortuary assistant, you know what scene that is. And he got frustrated by it because it got age restricted. And then he started searching around other YouTubers to see if theirs was age restricted, and it wasn't.
No one else's was age restricted. So I appealed the restriction. Hey guys, I'm not sure why mine got age restricted. Could you look into this? Appeal rejected.
But I should clarify this, that I talked to Corey a little bit about this. I was texting him after his video went out to talk about it because I really liked his video, and I'm really glad that he did it and brought up a lot of these points. But he said that he checked my video as one of the first ones he went to see if it got age restricted. And at the time it wasn't. But my video has been age restricted since the 15th of August. Corey's scenario that happened was that his video got age restricted. He looked around. Some other YouTubers didn't have age restrictions on their content either. And he went to some other channels like Markiplier's to see if theirs got restricted as well, because like a big creator who's seen very favorably in YouTube's eyes and had like a very popular video about mortuary assistant as well wasn't age restricted. So he felt a bit targeted as a result of that, which fair enough. This happens all the time, and I'll get to that in a minute as well.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. inconsistent treatment, vague treatment, obscure rules, vague rules, unequal application of rules, all kinds of problems relating to that, to be sure, yes.
But he went back to his YouTube rep and was like, hey, why is mine age restricted when Mark's isn't and it has the exact same scene in it? And then suddenly his got greenlit. It was fine. They took the age restriction off and everything went about their business. And then he started to get pretty mad about it, which I completely understand, because why is that the scenario? Why is that the order of operations?
Now, my YouTube rep, he was excited. He was, oh, great. This is awesome. Look, Corey, they took the age restriction off. I said, why? I expected them to triple down and give Markiplier an age restriction too. But they looked at Mark's video and they used that to verify my innocence.
And then sent a pretty scathing email to his YouTube rep, which, fair play to you. I'm very proud of you, Corey, for doing that, because it takes a lot to stand up to these types of things that are happening whenever they do happen, because it's a big system. And a lot of times we're left to feel very dumb in regards to what's going on at YouTube, like we just don't understand the system. And then this happens and you're like, why? What the hell is going on? Why did it suddenly get greenlit when it only was because I mentioned it?
Exactly. And you don't understand the system. I don't understand the system. And feeling dumb is not my problem. I just feel like, you know, it feels just arbitrary. It feels arbitrary and almost purposefully so. It's so vague and capricious and whimsy, and up to a human reviewer who can review a 23-minute video in 7 minutes somehow, and reviews your appeal with great care and consideration, with no analysis, by the way. Just like your appeal was denied, no further review. No analysis, no discussion, no chance for interaction. You know, it's, yeah.
And then they turned around and age restricted him again and age restricted Mark's video.
And what do you know? They re-age restricted the video. They re-age restricted the video. I say, no way did they do that. I go to Markiplier's video now, and now his video is age restricted. They got caught with their pants down.
And I don't know if that's when mine got age restricted as well. I think Corey actually uploaded his after mine, so maybe not. But at the same time, it highlights a huge problem on the platform. And I want to talk a little bit about that.
And Cherry asks about a class action, and there is actually a class action in play right now that made it past the motion to dismiss. And we were actually a little bit surprised that it made it past the motion to dismiss, pleased, and something we're definitely following as things develop. But there's a federal case that's been filed relating to copyright issues and how some creators have access to the creator to the content ID system and some don't, and how that might be unfair or illegal in some way. And so there's at least a lawsuit in part right now, and it's in the very early stages, right? It just made it past the initial motion to dismiss. And so there's a lot of game left to play. But as things happen in that case, we're definitely going to cover it. It's a case that I have alerts on Pacer. And like when it made it past the motion to dismiss, I'm like, ooh, okay. So there might be something here. I was like, I'll create alerts for that. So as things happen in the future, we'll see how that works and see whether or not that helps at all. But getting class actions against YouTube has been notoriously difficult in the past. That's one of the reasons why when this made it past the initial motion to dismiss, which doesn't mean that it won't make it all the way or there won't be further motions to dismiss or something, but the fact it made it past Boo was like, ooh, surprising. Maybe this will go somewhere. We'll see.
Not just Corey's case, but my sort of experiences with it as well, because the amount of times, and I have very good evidence of this as well, because I have a girlfriend who does the exact same job as me in the other room. And a lot of times we upload the same games. And this has happened a couple of times now where we'll both upload the same game. Her video will get flagged or claimed or something like that, and mine will be totally fine. And then she's wondering why mine is clear. And I'm also like, yeah, that's so weird. Why is mine suddenly fine? Like, did they just not flag me because I'm a bigger creator? And then sometimes a couple of days will go by and then I'll get flagged for it. But it's like, why did hers get flagged instantly and mine didn't? Because she got flagged for the mortuary assistant as well, got age restricted for the same scene. And it took days before mine did. When you think, if it's supposed to be that obvious that it's in the system and these types of scenes are happening and they get auto flagged by this system, shouldn't it be consistent across everybody's? I don't want special treatment because I'm a bigger YouTuber. I don't want special treatment because I've been on the platform for a while, or maybe my content has been a bit more palatable to a lot of people and I don't like rock the boat. I mean, I swear a lot of my content, and that's been something in the past where I'm like, is my stuff getting restricted because of that? But for the most part, my content is totally fine. And I think because of that, then they come to me and they're like, no, we're not going to flag you because you're fine. You normally are green in the system, which is a massive problem as well, because I have the benefit of, there's been a couple of times when this has happened to me and Evelyn, where we go to our YouTube rep and say, why is this age restricted? Why did this get flagged? Why am I ad limited on my videos? And then they'll come back and be like, let me look into it. They go to the policy team, come back saying, sorry, it was a false flag. And then everything gets greenlit again. And now this has nothing got to do with my YouTube rep. I have nothing against him. I actually really, really love my YouTube rep. He's amazing. He always has my back and really fights for me whenever I ask him to. He's as transparent as he can be with the information that he has all the time. So this is nothing against him. He's just my point of contact to get to YouTube's policy team. And I don't think even he has all the answers most of the time. So I don't want
this is a problem. The power of these YouTube reps seems to be very minimal. Their power and their influence, to the degree they have any, over these content teams seems to be extremely minimal. So YouTube
is watching this. Please don't say anything to them in regards to this, because they are phenomenal and I'm really glad that I have them. But at the same time, I keep thinking about what it's like if you don't have a YouTube rep to talk to this stuff about. Like, there's a lot of smaller creators out there that get stuff flagged for the same reasons, and then they don't have anybody to talk to, and it just stays flagged for a long time. And what happens because of that is when your stuff gets like a yellow symbol on it, you get demonetized, or you get ad limited suitability, or you get claimed, or anything like that. It just kills your search rankings, because YouTube don't want to promote something that can go out to people that's claimed or has some sort of sensitive material or something in it. So you just don't end up in people's recommendations. You don't end up in suggested videos. You don't get pushed to as many people as you would if you were greenlit in the system. So there's a lot of creators out there who are probably getting hit with stuff that shouldn't be. And one of my instances was that I can't remember the video off the top of my head right now, but I got it flagged. Then I went to my YouTube rep about it, and they put it into the system and were like, yeah, that's weird. Why did that happen? And then it came back and it was greenlit, and they were like, we don't know what happened, but what might have been the cause is that something in the auto captions had like underscores in it. And whenever YouTube want to censor swear words, it puts underscores into the auto-generated captions. So it might have thought that I was swearing where I wasn't swearing and auto-flagged the video, which is a massive issue whenever you upload a video and most of your views come within the 24-hour period that it's uploaded. And then maybe it hits the algorithm later and takes off. But a lot of my views come in that first 24-hour period, or 48 hours. And if something like that happens immediately, it crushes the video. It can't really take off again as much as it probably once could. And there's just a whole mess of issues around it in regards to that. So that inconsistency with uploading and that kind of check system that's going on is really bothersome. And sometimes I'll upload a video. Today, I'm trying to get an eye tracker video done that had like some nudity in it, but we were trying really hard to like censor it as best we could so that it was like you can't actually see anything in the video. And it kept getting restricted immediately every time I uploaded it, no matter how many censors we were putting onto it. And I was like, fine, there's a lot of implied stuff in it. I get it. It's a very like risque kind of video. And I knew that before even recording the video. But we kept uploading, and I was like, you know what? At one point, I'll just try an appeal on it to see what they say. Maybe they'll tell me exactly what actually is getting flagged, because I have no idea. I don't know if it's some of the implied nudity, some of the stuff we're covering up with pictures, some of the stuff that's pixelated. There's some male like top body nudity in it, which that double standard has existed for a while, where that's totally fine, showing male nipples, but anything else then is deemed way too sensitive, which is a whole other topic for a different discussion. But I was like, okay, maybe it's that. But then all of a sudden, the appeal came back and the video was greenlit. And I don't know why. I don't know why suddenly it's fine because somebody looked at it and was like, actually, yeah, this video is fine. Why is it getting flagged? So it's this imbalance between the system flagging stuff versus like a manual reviewer flagging it. And a lot of times I don't know which is doing it. I don't know which is which. I don't know who's actually checking this stuff or what's checking this stuff, why it's getting.
Yeah, that's like you don't know who's checking the stuff. You don't know what's checking the stuff. You don't know what process they're using to check the stuff. You don't know anything about what's going on. It is endlessly frustrating. You don't have any sort of review of anything. You don't have control of anything. When you do use the YouTube chat system, they don't have control over anything. They don't understand the issue that's going on. You can't get any answers out of them with any sort of particularity. They just say review our policies, which is like, no, I can't because I don't understand what's going on in the first place. So, you know, it doesn't really make any sense. Yeah. Let's read some more.
Flagged. And that, I think, is the biggest issue with all of this, is that lack of communication and transparency and willingness to know what we're getting flagged for. And that's been an issue for a really long time on the platform. Because not only can that happen, but the reverse can happen as well, where I get something flagged, then it gets greenlit by somebody at YouTube, supposedly, and then suddenly I upload the video, and then 5 days later, I'm like, okay, it's clear, great. Now I'm happy because I know that that video is fine because someone manually reviewed it. And then a couple of days go by, and then it gets flagged again, and I can't appeal it. That's a really big problem for anybody doing this kind of job. And again, I come from a place of huge privilege where I have the ability to actually talk to them about it. Can you imagine if you don't have that ability? What are you going to do about your content? You're just sitting there.
The ability to talk to them about it is less helpful because they can't give you any information or won't give you any information. It's like it doesn't really do you any good in any way. So it's all very, very frustrating.
In limbo, wondering if the next thing you upload is actually going to get flagged as well, and you're second guessing everything. And that sort of like second guessing of stuff has really killed my sort of creativity when it comes to content, or like it just pulls me out of it. Whenever I'm recording something and I'm thinking, man, is this going to get flagged? Do I have to edit this out? And all of these filters going through my brain just kind of like pulls me out of the moment and pulls me out of my own content, where I just want to sit here and have fun and record stuff. And I know these systems are in place for good reasons, like to keep children safe, to keep pornographic content off the platform. Like for the reasons that they're implemented, they're very good reasons for them being there. And I completely understand that and don't want them to go away. I just wish it was more consistent and a bit more transparent as to what's going on. Because right now it feels like you get flagged.
The transparency is a real problem. They don't tell you what the problem is. They don't give you enough information. They don't like say what the part of the video is. Like their systems could probably identify which portion of the video is the problem. Like, oh, it's these 3 seconds, or it's these 5 seconds, or it's this whatever, so that you would know, and then you could be able to work around it, delete it, augment it, whatever. They don't tell you with any specificity what the issues are. It's like, so how am I supposed to know what the problem is? Just guess? Okay.
For some sort of stuff, and they because either they don't know or they don't want to tell you, because then it'll like poke holes in the system. And I guess this is a good jumping off point to the next point, which is that there's a big issue with users flagging videos these days as well. And I'm speaking all of this anecdotally because I don't have any like crazy proof of this. It's just kind of what I go through.
There's a specific office for shareholders of a platform. I mean, if being a shareholder is, I'm a shareholder of Alphabet, I'm sure. If getting it named because you know I have mutual funds, I'm sure I have stock in Alphabet. Me being a shareholder is the thing. No one's told me the answer.
Through and what I see others go through and the stories that I hear from them is that users can flag videos, and if you get mass reported for something, I think then YouTube pays attention to it and does something about it. And a recent example of this was that the Corridor Digital people got their channel hacked, and they got mass reported by people watching the video to be like, hey, your channel's hacked, or we want this taken down, or something like that.
Doesn't that sound familiar?
And their whole channel was removed from YouTube.
Yep.
So it made me think, what happens if you're not hacked and people report you en masse like that as well? Do YouTube actually check it and then be like, no, that's fine, we'll keep it? Or is it automated where the system will just take your channel down anyway if you just get mass flagged for something?
It's just going to take you
Because
down.
what if somebody uploads something and other people don't like it and then it gets mass reported? Like, I
Yep.
don't know the systems in place for users flagging videos like that. Or if somebody finds something unsavory or they didn't find it funny or something like that, can't they just abuse the system then to get something they don't like
Yes,
addressed?
they can. Yes, they do.
And again, I could be talking out of my ass on this one, and it could not actually be like that. And there could be way more systems in place to protect people from that. But
There's
again,
not.
I don't know. And the fact that I don't know in these scenarios, and I'm guessing, is a massive problem. We should know, especially as people on this platform that are like all these massive creators that are bringing in so much revenue for YouTube. And the fact that we don't know exactly how you address these types of things, I think is a really big problem. Because this happened a while ago as well, between Charlie and Mark as well. And again, people keep saying this. Poor Mark keeps getting dragged into all of this stuff, but it's a very good use case scenario because in YouTube's eyes, it seems like Mark can do no wrong these days. And I don't know why, but it seems like I've gotten stuff flagged before where Mark hasn't. And I think because me and Mark are of similar size and like make similar content, that to me was really bizarre.
That's interesting, isn't it? He's of similar size and of similar content, but Markiplier is a chosen one. How he gets to be on this select list, who knows? I don't think PewDiePie is on the select list, but Markiplier is, but not this guy, even though they're similar content, similar sizes. How Markiplier gets to be the chosen one? Yeah, okay, that's a good question. I wonder if Markiplier has a phone number he can call.
The only difference is that Mark has made like YouTube original shows with them, and I'm wondering if he was put into a different system so those shows wouldn't get flagged for some of the stuff that was in them. So now other stuff kind of gets a bit more leeway on it. Again, I don't know. I could be talking out of my ass, and I don't want to put instances in place that aren't actually happening. But it's kind of hard not to think about these things from this perspective. And I would love to be able to talk to someone at YouTube about this more in depth and see exactly, like, get some actual honesty out of it instead of being talked to in riddles. But this happened with Mark and Charlie before, where Charlie uploaded a video with the same clip that Mark reacted to years ago. And Charlie's video got a strike. It wasn't just like a claim. I think he legitimately got a strike on his channel, which is like the 3 strikes and you're out rule. And Mark didn't. So Mark made a video about it being like, where's my strike? And instead of addressing the problem and being like, oh yeah, we're inconsistent and that sucks and we're sorry, they just give Mark a strike. It's like, that's not the solution. That's not what we were talking about. And that's not the solution here either. We're not saying everybody should be flagged now because we're talking about it. It should be, maybe everyone should be flagged for the same things all the time. So it's consistent across everybody's channels and no one is being prioritized. No one's getting favoritism, or is the system just missing things, which is also a big problem. Like
that would be nice. That would be nice. But you know, it's not meant to be, right? It's just not meant to be. All right, so I want to watch one more video related to this theme. Okay, one more thing from Hi How to Cook, who has this problem as well. So let me go ahead and just load that up real fast, and we'll wrap up with this clip from another creator. This How to Cook has 4.9 million subscribers. 5 million subscribers. She's a 5 million subscriber channel. And she has the same problems, man. It's like, no, we can't win. You know, what security is there for any of us, right? All right, so let's watch this.
Hi, How to Cook That. Our team has reviewed your content, and unfortunately, we think it violates our harmful and dangerous policy. We've removed the following content from YouTube: debunking deadliest craft hack 34 dead. We know this might be disappointing, but it is important to us that YouTube is a safe place for all. Content that encourages or promotes harmful or dangerous activities that have a risk of serious physical harm or death are not allowed on YouTube.
This is so hilarious, and I'm sure she's going to talk about this in the video. But what makes this so hilarious is this channel exposes people who are giving really, really dangerous advice on cooking. Because cooking can be dangerous. It involves flames and, you know, gas and all kinds of things. It involves all kinds of problems. Thank you very much, Rob. It involves all kinds of problems. And it is just a situation where, it needs to be exposed. And even though it's being exposed, she's the one getting taken down. It doesn't make any sense. It's so bizarre. It's so messed up.
You missed my last video, the one that's now been banned. I explained the dangers, the extreme danger of fractal wood burning. In fact, the video was entitled 34 deaths because there's been 34 deaths in the US already, and that's just ones reported in the newspaper. I've since found out there's been 30 deaths reported in the UK, and I know there's some here in Australia, and no doubt around the world. The video's purpose was very clear. It was to tell people not to do it. My purpose was to get the video to get enough views and enough momentum that video would appear when you searched for fractal wood burning. I wanted it to be in the search result 1 or 2 because those ones get the most clicks. We'd managed to get it all the way to number 3, so it was nearly there when people searched fractal wood burning. And when I started reading comments like this one that says, "You probably just saved my life here. I'd watched a video earlier this week with that type of wood burning and had planned to try it myself tomorrow. Now I've completely scrapped that idea." And I thought when I read that comment, the whole video was worthwhile. If it's prevented one person who didn't know what they were doing from doing it and dying, it's worth the video. But since then, those comments just kept coming of people saying that they'd watched videos, they were going to try it, they were about to try it. People we knew were talking to us saying they were trying it this weekend and they didn't realize just how dangerous it was. There was even a comment from an ER doctor who said, "I had to look a woman in the eyes and tell her I was sorry for her loss. Her husband died in my ER after electrocuting himself doing wood burning." Diana commented saying, "My husband died 5 years ago doing fractal wood burning. Please don't do it. It isn't the way to go." And that was the last comment on the video before YouTube banned it, saying that it's not safe for the community. So
This is so messed up. This is basically my problem to a lesser degree, right? I was making videos and did make videos. I made 58 videos talking about the Capitol Riot series, talking about these fools who committed all kinds of crimes against the United States by going into the Capitol building on January 6th. And I'm exposing them for being fools and criminals, at least in the cases I reviewed, justly so. Again, not speaking about all of them. Some of them might have defenses, not in the cases we covered at least, but there were a lot of them. So, hey, there might be some people who have better defenses than the ones we covered. But, to talk about the ones we covered, these are idiots. These are fools. And I'm the one who gets the video taken down because my videos exposing these people is promoting and inciting terrorism or violence. And her video gets taken down because she's the one promoting dangerous hobbies. No, she's kind of doing the exact opposite by saying this fractal wood burning, which is where you basically use open electrodes. You put one electrode in the wood and you put another electrode in the wood, and the electricity, of course, wants to pass, and you run a current through the wood as the resistor, right? Is basically what it is. Don't do this, by the way. I'm not encouraging you to do this. This is very dangerous because of the open electricity thing, right? So basically, you put one electrode in one part of the wood, another electrode in another part of the wood. You pass a big enough current through. The wood is the resistor, but of course, it doesn't resist infinitely, right? You pass a big enough current through, it will pass through. And then it leaves all kinds of nice burn marks because, it has to find the electricity is trying to find the path of least resistance, which of course for each piece of wood is going to be unique, and you come up with all these wonderful little cool patterns. Of course, the open electricity thing. So, people wind up electrocuting themselves. And she's bringing attention to this and saying, this is really stupid with the open electric current and the electrodes with the massive amount of electricity that you're having to pass through because you have to pass it big enough to get through the wood's resistance to be able to go through. So, a little bit dangerous. And she's bringing attention to this, and her video is the one that gets taken down. Oh, that definitely makes sense.
My first thought actually was maybe we've made a difference. Maybe, just maybe, they might have banned all the videos on fractal wood burning, and that will make a huge impact. But when I searched on YouTube for fractal wood burning using a microwave transformer, the videos are all still there on how to do it.
Don't do
There's
that.
how-to videos that show in detail how to get a microwave transformer and plug all the parts in to make a fractal wood burning machine.
Don't do that. Don't
But
do
the
that.
video that it said, don't do it, it's ridiculously dangerous and has killed lots of people already, that one's not safe.
Yeah,
they had to take that one down.
That doesn't look dangerous in any way. Look at that. Yeah, that doesn't look dangerous in any way. Look, I got nails. I'm just using nails as an electrical contact. I got clamps and this piece of wood, some sort of medium to help the electricity move through. And now I'm just going to run a really big current through this. Oh, look,
They had to
look
take
at the
that
sparks
one down.
go.
It's just ridiculous.
Hmm.
I will, of course.
Yeah, don't do that. That looks like an invitation to death. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. That seems really, really dumb.
Of course, fill out YouTube's form to challenge this, see if we can get the ban removed and get the video reinstated. But the damage has been done. That video now has had 0 views for a day and longer by the time they process it, which is like taking a video that had lots of momentum. It was #1 on Reddit videos. It had been shared on other websites that were writing articles about the dangers of wood burning. It's like taking that momentum of like a ball going downhill, picking it up, and then saying, oh, yeah, we'll put it back on again on flat ground. It's really hard to get it rolling again and get that momentum
that's
that
exactly
it needs
so, right,
to get it
yeah.
to the top. When
That
people
momentum is hard, man. Once a video gets taken down, getting momentum again, man, you lose that first 24 hours, you lose that 48 hours, man. You can't get momentum again. So her video, trying to bring attention to this, gets taken down, loses all the momentum. People's lives are getting... And YouTube, of course, is not obligated to take these videos down, right? Because of Section 230, right? They have immunity. They can choose to or not. But the ones they're choosing to take down are the ones that are trying to save lives. Sounds like a questionable choice.
search for fractal wood burning. So that then made me really sad and really disappointed, because the whole purpose of it is to warn people. And now, thanks to YouTube, a whole lot less people are going to see that warning. So at the risk of getting another ban and getting a channel strike, which is personally very damaging, I'm going to post here again that section of the fractal wood burning video warning you not to do it, because I think your life is more important than my channel.
Let's watch
Now
not
to the
to do
most
this.
dangerous hack that I have seen yet. This hack has already killed 34 people in the US, and that is only counting the ones that have been reported in newspapers. There may well be a lot more than that, and certainly there are many more around the world.
This is the video
The hack
YouTube
is
is
called
taking
fractal
down.
wood burning, or
This is going to
Lichtenberg
kill
wood
you.
burning. There are heaps of videos on TikTok showing people doing it. Essentially, it uses electricity to burn a lightning or a tree-like pattern into wood that's been dampened. The results are unique every time, and it does look pretty impressive, which is why people want to try it for themselves. Then they head over to YouTube and find more videos showing people doing it, including how-to videos that show you how to make your own fractal wood-burning device using parts from an old microwave. It is so dangerous that the American Association of Wood Turners has...
Tread gives $1.99 to say you go, Lucky. Thank you, Tread, for your kind super chat. We do appreciate it. Please do not do the fractal wood burning. I'd prefer you to live. I'd prefer you to live so that you can like, comment, and subscribe. Huh? Okay, let's get back to the video.
Banned any demonstrations of it at their events, and they will not publish anything about it on their website except for articles saying how dangerous it is. So why is it so dangerous? Well, to explain that, let me draw you a picture. We'll start with our piece of wood, and then we'll wet that with a mixture of water and bicarb. Then over here we have a power point that we will plug the machine into. And in the middle here, we have a box, which in most how-to videos is a transformer that has been taken out of a microwave. So they attach one side of the transformer to the power supply, And on the other side, they have a couple of car jumper cables, and in these alligator clips, they add long metal spikes that they touch the wood with. Then you turn it on, and the electric
Tread says $1.99. I'm referring to lucky gifting. Oh yes, we do appreciate people who do provide gift memberships to other people. You can as well. So you can super chat like Tread does, which does show up in StreamYard. Or you can, instead of doing that, you can hit the button and gift memberships, which doesn't show up in StreamYard, and so then I don't know about it. And people just have to then bring it to my attention, because that's the way StreamYard rolls. It's frustrating. But in any case, thank you, Lucky, for doing the gifting thing. We do appreciate it. Also, please do not hook up. Here's a thought. Do not hook up the parts of a used microwave to openly exposed electrodes in wood soaked in a fluid, and then run a current through it. That seems like the kind of thing that it seems dangerous and unwise. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't even kid around about it. Please don't even kid around about it. I'm not going to let you even kid around about it. I'm timing out anyone who even suggests it as a joke. That is not cool. Anyone who even suggests doing it in any sort of remotely positive way, time them out, moderators. I'm not having that on my channel. This is just stupid.
current starts to burn patterns into the wood. One of the problems with this hack is that people don't understand what is happening inside the microwave transformer. On this side, the wire does a few turns around, but on the other side, it has lots and lots and lots of turns. And what that effectively does is it takes the 120 volts or 240 volts that are coming from the power outlet, depending on where you live, and it transforms that into 2000 volts. Which means if you accidentally touch the metal on those alligator clips, or you touch the wood, or you touch the table if it's not on a non-conductive surface, you are going to be delivered 10 times the amount of power that's needed to stop your heartbeat. And in 7 out of 10 cases, the person is dead before they even hit the floor. There is just no margin for error here. One little lapse in concentration, one little error, and you're dead. It's not a good hack for anyone to try. And you'll remember from our previous video that was talking about electricity, and it had that stupid metal electric plug which short circuits everything.
I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. Anyone who even remotely suggests that this should be done in any context is getting timed out and then banned. I'm not kidding. This is not cool. Do not do this.
And is dangerous in itself. But you'll remember in that the residual current device on our house flicks the power off because it notices there's something wrong, and as a safety measure, it flicks it off. And most modern houses have a device or some sort of safety device that's going to flick the power off if someone's getting electrocuted. Well, that doesn't happen with this machine. And once again, the problem is what's happening inside that microwave transformer. You may have noticed that there are no wires connecting one side of the transformer to the other. The charge actually passes from one winding to the other using a pulsing magnetic field. So in this half, everything continues to operate as normal. The safety switch doesn't kick in because it's not noticing anything abnormal happening. In one sad case in Wisconsin where a couple were both electrocuted, if someone is being electrocuted, it's important you turn off the power before you touch them or you also will be electrocuted. And then in their case after that, because the power continued to go through, the whole house burnt down.
We do know that the fire started in the garage before spreading to the home. We believe that the fractal wood burning equipment that caused the electrocutions likely started the fire.
Now that you know just how many volts of electricity are going through that and that there is no safety off switch, I want you to watch a couple of these clips again and tell me, would you walk this close to a fractal wood burning machine, knowing if you just brush that wood with your leg, there's a 7 out of 10 chance that you're dead?
That looks really dangerous.
Would you hold these alligator clips in your hand, as so many videos show people doing, knowing that one little
completely exposed hands? No.
mishap, you slightly touch that metal and it's all over. Well, sadly, this guy learnt that the hard way, and his widow, in an interview with a local newspaper, said that he was not aware of the dangers. She went on to say, "We knew he could get a shock, but we had no idea it could kill you. There were no warnings with the videos. If he had have known, he never would have done it." There is a
He never, yep. I mean, this stuff is, yeah, I don't think we need to watch more about that right now. But thank you to How to Cook That for that video. And this video was taken down. This video exposing this danger was taken down by YouTube. That's the level of stupidity that we're dealing with here. And it's like don't do this. This is just completely dumb. So that will bring us to the end of this stream, because we talked about everything we need to talk about. We talked about all the stupid with all this stuff, and yeah, it's a whole pile of stupid. So please don't do that. So that'll bring us to the end of this stream. If you have liked this stream, if you've liked this content, please remember to do the YouTubey things. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the join button, all that YouTubey stuff. We might be on later with some more streaming. We'll see what Rob is interested in. Maybe we'll do some sort of hangout, cash hangout or something. That might be fun. We'll talk about anything. Remember to check out Law and Lumber as well. Rob knows. Rob is well aware. But yeah, he might want to cover it for his own channel as well because of his expertise. It might be a good idea. I'll suggest it to him. Anyways, I hope all is well, my friends. Until later, my friends, check out everything. Cheers, my friends, and goodbye.